welcome to Rauta's uh, Halloween stream. Very serious business. Very serious. And of course, we have whiskey. Now, I have absolutely no idea where this is. Now, mirrored version. Let's do whiskey. Let's do talking. And let's get this microphone here. So, whiskey on the monthly stream. I don't know if you can hear me properly underneath this very goofy Halloween mask, but little do I care unless you really can't hear me. Now, this silly mask is a gift to me. I think might have been my kid or someone in the family who gave me this silly whiskey. Silly whiskey, silly yes, I'm able to enjoy some whiskey with the given mask. So okay. Uh this is getting kind of sweaty. Also, say hello to the doggy.
Hello, I'm taking part of the stream as well. I don't know why. I just wanna be with the dude here. So yeah, bye.
So that's the goofy start for this Halloween stream, if you will. Of course, there is no particular Halloween theme here for more than that, but just wanted to do a little bit of a goofy start. I know a lot of serious shit is happening around the world right now, and of course, metal is always very serious and all that shit. So I think it's a little bit okay to lighten up the mood every now and then. I don't know about you, but I've had a good day, and now I'm having a good evening with whiskey and all. So yeah, let's talk about Halloween and shit. So how are you guys doing? Welcome to the stream. Questions and answers will be given, will be made. And of course, as always, if you want to answer, if you want to ask me something, just tag me. Like the very same way that Nevermore rules, just tag me. I will be able to see those highlighted questions way more easily than, well, without the tag. So if you want to get my attention, tag. If you're going to get some extra attention, consider donating something to the Rauta crew. That is something like consider as money. That will be then again used for Rauta trips, festival trips, like plane tickets and hotel tickets, whatever. But of course, just if you think you're low on cash or you have better places to donate your money, do that instead. This is just something not so important. Anyway, nice to have you here, and I'm looking forward to answer your questions. There's no particular topic except that I got these fancy new lights here. You can probably see this how this is more, more bright. See, I get to choose different colors here. I get to choose a little bit different brightness. You can pretty much figure it out here already. Pushing the buttons like crazy person. See, it's already um, a little bit more yellowish now. You get the idea. But I guess I prefer a little bit more on the wider side of things. So these could be also adjusted, um, via my program, Logitech stuff. These are a couple of Logitech lights I have here, thanks to my job, and also I got this nice little microphone boom, which now keeps this microphone up there instead of on the table. Makes more room for the table, and everything just looks more, well, better. I don't wouldn't call it beautiful, but everything is more professional here on Rauta studio side of things. So yeah, been getting a little bit of upgrade here. Oh, SK, $50. Are you crazy person? I salute you personally when we meet. When you come to Finland for, I don't know, maybe Steelfest, I will salute you, and well, I guess I gotta buy you a drink or two. Thank you so much for your help. You've been always the biggest supporter for Rauta stuff and always that like that. And I can tell you, people, things have been looking quite nice in the department of getting budget a tiny amount of up. That means especially people who have been supporting Rauta via Patreon site. There are quite a few, SK being the longest lasting, the biggest supporter. Of course, the highest tier also gets CDs and all that stuff. But I mean, this guy has been supporting Rauta for years, meaning that he's part of the people who are actually donating some money to Rauta crew, which in turn translates to flight tickets and hotels, which means we can do more trips, which means you get to see more interviews and all. Like for example, this trip to Bergen uh, last August, Beyond the Gates Festival, meant interviews like Possessed out, Primordial out, Talke out, um, Eternus out, and I'm wondering if there's one more. No, let me count: Primordial, Talke, Eternus, um, Possessed. Something is missing. We should have five out. Well, anyways, there are still in Twilight's in Praise and Blood Incantation coming out in following weeks. So plenty of talking coming out, and well, three more interviews coming after that already done. Biased, death metal band from Denmark, and last week in Battlelore, a Tolkien-based fantasy metal, and also Skyforger folk black metal from Latvia. So plenty of stuff coming your way, and all of this is made possible more or less not only people who support Rauta directly, but big part of that is that, and also those who just view the videos, whatever advertising money comes out. It's not big, but it matters. Whenever you watch a Rauta video and you get to see those advertisers ads, that is also building up the budget for next year. And now I can announce that, for example, I was actually supposed to book them already this week. I'm about to book hotel for Rauta crew at Inferno 2024 Oslo festival, where I've been 2 past years, bringing you interviews such as, but definitely not limited to, bands like Celtic Frost and Vatine and Belzer, things like that. And of course, I hope to bring you way more interesting interviews in coming months and years as well. Now, for this year, I can already say that the next stop to do interviews will be in 2 weeks at Steel Chaos, where also my band Nightside is going to perform. So that one day isn't going to be exactly filled with interviews. I have already my hands full of Nightside stuff to do, but the second day will be used for interviews. So maybe 2, 3, 4 interviews coming out, but that remains to be seen what exactly is happening and all that stuff. Now, come March and December, there are some individual gigs happening in my home city, meaning that at least some interviews are already happening during the fall as well. So we should be kind of nicely covered. These are not the ones that actually take the money, obviously. I mean, whatever happens at, say, Steel Chaos, Steel Fest, in my home city, that is not where the budget goes. We don't really need to spend money on, driving a few kilometers, a few miles to a local metal club or whatever. But when it comes to the traveling part, outside Finland, like Oslo Inferno Festival, that is, and hopefully Bergen 2024, Beyond the Gates 2024. I already think the lineup is pretty interesting. There are going to be some bigger bands as well. I know a lot of you don't really care about bigger bands, but I mean, of course, they are something that attract a lot of people. For example, Satyricon will be playing at Bergen next year, and it would be really, really interesting to do a new interview with Satyricon. When I say new, means I have been doing one before many, many years ago, around 2005 or so. But that was way before Rauta even existed. So obviously, that is something different. And of course, I'm still trying to get Dimmu Borger interview for Rauta. That didn't happen at Beyond the Gates, but now they're also playing at Inferno next year. So maybe we will see those. And thank you so much, Rob Hellfire, for your donation as well. All these donations really, really help the cause. Now, I don't want to be begging for money. I know it sucks. It's very pretentious and all that stuff. Never more rules. Thank you as well. But I'm mentioning this because it's part of my duty as the host of the channel, as well as to, in order to support the crew. So all your donations, like said, they will be used for these festival trips. So every dollar, of course, counts in the big picture because, as probably everybody knows that flight tickets and hotels take money. So we're now building up some stuff, and you've already seen also some ads like Steel Chaos 2023, as well as Gamos Metal Cruise and whatever Steelfest, also in the beginning of this year or during the spring that was advertised. They too will be adding to the pile, what we call as budget. So I hope, and I'm pretty sure that at least a couple of foreign trips will be possible next year. Like for example, Traildom is playing at Beyond the Gates Festival. I am assuming it's gonna be with Gal, and Gal already said yes to my interview request when I met him this year in Bergen at Beyond the Gates Festival. So could be interesting interviews coming up in the following months. But of course, these take time. We're already planning very much 2024. And early 2024 also marks the date for next Metal Cruise, Nordic Metal Cruise. Abath will be headlining there, and there will be bands like Hell Reaper and Toxic Holocaust to warm up the Metal Cruise. Well, personally, would really, really pick some brain of Abath, talk about Abath, talk about his years in Immortal. It would be really, really a highlight moment for me as well. So let's keep our fingers crossed these interviews will take place because it's my duty to bring that content to you. And I hope to keep you also entertained with smaller stuff like Marty Shorts videos or some kind of a overall recap, whatever is happening. Um, so, yeah, I really hope that you're getting your money's worth or your time's worth when we're talking about some Rauta content. But enough random babble here. It's my time to also answer your questions and all that stuff. So it's nice that you've been tagging. I will be reading them. Just give me a couple of seconds because I've been explaining so much stuff here. And I'm really happy about this light. I think it's gonna be less grainy picture for you because I mean during the evening time, I mean it's really, really, literally almost pitch black dark outside. So without these lights, I'll show you how it would be. Let me turn on this light for a bit, and this. So uh, without these lights, this would be a little bit grainier, as you can see, because the only LED lamps are outside there. So while you can totally see me, as you can pretty much figure out, uh, these lamps, all this gear is helping to do better content to you, meaning there will be more videos able to do them during nighttime as well. Anyway, okay, long introduction already been 40 minutes in and barely got up the mask out. So the doggo is now taking a nap. Let's hope she's pregnant and bringing more tiny doggos to the owner. Yeah, and thanks. I think that dog really rules. I had to bring her with me so she wouldn't be alone at the house, but instead can actually, enjoy the company of you people and all that stuff. Sadistic Venom was about asking about Moonlight Searcher's new album. Sorry, haven't heard it. I've just read about it. The name of the dog is called Rusetti. I think it was named by my daughter. Rusetti means, what do you call it? The tiny little, not tie, but like, what do you call it? The knot you just some fancy people put on their suits. Yeah, anyway, that's one. Thank you, Netred. The thumbnail was made by obviously my thumbnail wizard, Chris. Nevermore Rules is asking if I watch college football in addition to NFL. Unfortunately, it's not shown here, so nope. Then again, I don't even have the time. So much time is spent on doing Rauta content. Of course, I want to play a little bit on my PlayStation and Xbox every now and then, and I'm watching a lot of TV shows, movies. So yeah, pretty busy. Sadistic Venom is asking how many albums I have in my collection. I haven't really counted them since late, but when I was reordering, and that is still under project, by the way, in works, I'm guessing around 700 or so. And I've been selling probably more than 6,000 albums over the years. So yeah, most of the albums I have had coming and all that stuff, a lot of that stuff has been given, traded off, sold, because I wouldn't never have the room for storing some 6,000 CDs, and I like to be picky. I once upon a time, this is something that I've explained many times. Once upon a time, I said that it would be really cool to have only 100 CDs, but those 100 CDs would be really like the top notch, the kind of a 9 out of 10 and better, because they are not like 110 out of 10 albums. But I have a hard time giving up even 8 out of 10s and all that stuff. But that's pretty much the limit where I start. Yes, Nadred, cam girl setup, because I am a cam girl indeed. And indeed, thank you so much, SK, once again for your big donation. Welcome, Ecuador. Violent is asking if I heard the new Autopsy single. Unfortunately, for some reason, Autopsy promote never came here. I mean, most labels and all that stuff, those albums have been already been like for promotional download for quite some time. But yeah, for some reason, I don't know what's up with the Autopsy and all that stuff. And then you Domogos, Paradise Lost. I mean, this is one of my old-time favorite bands. This is very, very different than from all the death metal and black metal I've been listening to. There's something very, very, I don't know. I'm looking for a word. I don't know, profane in a way, I guess. With Paradise Lost and all that stuff, why it sticks with me. Oh, not your first time since COVID in a bar. Well, that's got to be something. Yes, Ned, I know, Natred. Eternus is something that really hasn't been under the radar too much. So it was really interesting to see them live after 30 years of existence, and also get to pick the brain. Now, Eternus is one of the bands that will be one of the bands in the next Norwegian black metal crash course episode, along with Gehenna and Hades, or Hades Almighty. So that will be there as well. Yes, November, a good day and a good evening. Oh, Nevermore Rules, 2 days in November. Well, in terms of black metal sites, I guess Fantoft Church, the one that was burned down, the remake of it. I guess, even though not related to black metal directly, but very, very inspiring to whole black metal community, more or less. The feuds, at least the big one, Fløyen, which is in the very core of the city. You can get the Fløibanen, which is basically Fløy train up to the mountain, and you get to see all around the city. That is definitely must. If you get to also visit Ulriken, I think it's the biggest mountain by Bergen. That is, of course, mandatory. For bars, I would say Helion is probably the most down to earth metal bar in Bergen. You can pretty easily see some local band people there as well. So that is place. I mean, for example, I met people from Ancient there. Primordial was there when they were playing a show. Host from Talke was also playing a DJ role in Talke. There is also 1349 beer is sold at Helion. So definitely that would be the black metal bar to visit in Bergen. The other bars definitely worth visiting, I guess, would be Kroken. That's, I think, one of the newer bars. Kroken, like Kraken, but with the Norwegian O, or is it Swedish O? A with the circle on top of it. So Kroken and Helion, those would be the ones. And some people say, I think it's called Stereo nowadays, as well as the record store slash bar, kind of craft beer bar. What the hell was the name? It will come to my mind. Anyway, Apollyon, something like that. Anyway, yeah, those four places, I guess. But Helion is, in my opinion, the best one. So the fjords, at least Fløyen and possibly Ulriken, and Helion Bar, Apollyon Bar, whatever it is, Kroken Bar, Fantov Church, and I think they are the main ones from Bergen. You really need to visit in case you're looking for some kind of a black metal um, related stuff. Also, the down floor of Helion Bar, there's a kind of a black metal shop, more like a metal shop in a way. I mean, clothing and beer glasses, whatever you have. Oh, hello, Ivy. It's nice to have you on the stream as well. First time in a year. Well, all that stuff. Oh, no, but nothing really special today. Had a little bit of bench press, visiting my dad and his wife, hanging out with the kid. Just kind of a basic stuff. Played a little bit video games, listening to music. So I don't know, just kind of a basic good day. And nice to hear that Nevermore Rules enjoyed the Target one. Not ready. Actually, Nightside interview. There's something stirring up with that. I will tell you more when that is going to happen. I don't know if the rest of the band are so interested in terms of doing the interviews, but by all means, if they're up for that, let's do it. And yeah, the talk interview, it was special to me because not only it was Hest showing around the surroundings of Bergen. I think that was really really great, and also we get to see different places like those what's called Lyset-klosteriet, the Monastery of Light, the oldest monastery in Norway. The ruins, that's actually where the first Immortal video was done around the first album. That's actually the same monastery ruins. Really cool place. I mean, I fucking love old ruins, old castles, old churches, well, old buildings, cemeteries in general. And that place has something really cool to it. It's actually quite a quite a bit outside of the city, some 20 minutes by car, but it's worth a visit if you have a car or someone to take you out there. Silver Snake is asking if I what do I think about real occultism and do I believe in that stuff? I would like to say I like to believe, but I am kind of a fucking skeptic. So I like to believe, for example, supernatural. I like to believe in demons and witches and godly powers, infernal powers, if you will. But I'm kind of a fucking secular, some kind of agnostic motherfucking atheist person. So I'm always taking a piss on people who believe in gods or supernatural or the beyond. But it's not like I hate that shit. It makes me curious. But I don't know. Maybe my brain is hardwired in such ways that I am kind of like when people are like, "Hey, did you see that lightning? Or did you see that flash of light? Or whatever is flying in the sky?" And like that was something magical. And I'm like, probably nothing magical in about it. just something that you couldn't understand with your simplistic brain. But if it entertains you to have it a higher meaning to it, go ahead. But I'm more into facts and realism, so down to earth in a way. Never more. I gotta say, Gal was actually present at Beyond the Gates festival, and he has his gallery. I don't know. I don't think he's anyway out of the black metal scene. For example, he still has Gal's word, and it's interesting that they're bringing back Traildom to play live. And yeah, regarding the talk interview, like more interviews in nature, would be great to do that. But usually, bands are not that able to move outside the venue, or more like not willing to do that. So usually they're like at the backstage or in a bar or whatever. Oh, the one interview which I forgot to mention, which we already did outside, did in Bergen, which is already out, is Terrestrial Hospice. Now, for example, with him, Paimon of Terrestrial Hospice, we could have really done it like outdoors. Like we went for a hiking trip after the interview, but the interview was done at his home. So there's that. And hello, Tia, welcome to the stream. And Benji, yeah, I hope the Abbat interview is going to happen because it was supposed to, it was already promised that it was going to happen at Inferno this year, but didn't because he had headache and whatnot. So there's that. Hello, Man. Man, how do you pronounce it? Man Wir Thing. First time catching live stream. Nice to hear. Yeah, Midgard Split was great. If I got to do that another year, I would definitely go there. That would be really great. Oh, not really. Yeah, bow tie. Thank you for clearing that term for me out. Yeah, well, kind of a cute name for a cute dog. I guess there's that. So as you can pretty much figure out, um, I'm replying in a little bit delay with your all, um, with your comments and all that stuff. Silver Snake was asking if there's a possibility to do interview with Famine for Preston Noir. I doubt it for a couple of reasons. First of all, I've been told he doesn't really speak English that well. Secondly, I don't know where I would meet the person, face to face. But if it's up to me, yeah, let's do it. SK Twin Peaks is actually one of my favorite show of all time. I would put it in my top 3. The other ones would be Oz and nowadays The Boys. Twin Peaks is something that I watched 3 times. I mean, I fell with love with the series in the 90s when we were teenagers. It was combination of drama, horror, and I don't know, some brutal crime. That was really, really, I mean, still is great series. What else? Yeah, Benji, talking about Gothic album by Paradise Lost, that's something that I listened to a lot of early on when I found the band. This was around 1993, 1994. We actually even covered Eternal from Gothic album with my first band, Cyric, back in the days. I mean, we had our own songs, but we also had to have a couple of covers since we were a new band with not too many songs to play. And Eternal by Paradise Lost was one of them. Another one was actually a Slayer track. But yeah, I think Eternal was the first one. Rob, talking about Suffocation, the new Suffocation album, I already have it here somewhere. Yeah, Hymns from the Apocrypha. It's actually I downloaded it like 4 days ago. So that album is there waiting to be listened. Dirk is asking my thoughts on Sulfur Aeon. I haven't heard the new album yet. The name has been popping up here and there, but I haven't listened to it. Does Kroken mean to crow? Okay, I didn't know that. That was pretty interesting to know. But I mean, it makes sense. Makes sense, because there's similar words in Swedish and Finland. No, they didn't mean that Kraken is Kroken is the same thing. I was just saying that people who are unable to do that umlaut thing might be writing it down like Kraken. Wasn't meaning that the meaning is the same. I was just saying about how the name is written down. Peter E. Deus Mortem is actually playing in my home city, Turku Saatanalle, where we are as Nightside playing a gig as well. So I'm trying to get the guys for interview. I don't know if they're up for video interviews, but I surely will ask. Nevermore Rules. I hope you will have a good time in Bergen visiting those places. Hello, Meta Voice from Czech Republic. I hope you're drinking a Kelt for me. One of the best beers from Czech Republic ever. Sadistic Venom is asking, do I like the weather out there? Well, yeah, luckily we are not having snow because I don't even have my winter tires under my car yet. But it's been storming like crazy, like in our neighbor's yard. Some, tree lost a couple of bigger, branches because of storming, and some of the stuff outside the sauna building were like thrown out, like as some madmen came and went all berserk. So it's been storming like crazy, but luckily it's not snowing just yet. Rob didn't see Bloodbath live at Wacken, but I mean, I've seen Bloodbath play in Wacken a few years ago. Benji, we shall see if Night's interview is happening. There might be something special to announce, so let's see. Okay, reading your comments in case you're wondering what the stuff I'm doing. Irvin Phillips, Goat Moon guy, Black Goat told me already, this was what, 3 years ago, that he's not into doing the interview anymore. So unless he changes his mind, not happening. Yes, Ryan Paul, Oz is the best TV show ever. It's fucking brutal. I mean, it did the same brutal stuff that you would later on uh, see happening in Game of Thrones, like main characters getting killed and all that stuff without warning. Also, very nasty villains. You're gonna hate those neo-Nazi skinheads in the show. You're probably gonna end up hating a lot of the main characters in the show because Oz is one of those shows, much like Game of Thrones, but more brutal, that there are no good guys. I mean, it's a prison. And whether we're talking about the guards or any of the inmates, there are no really good guys. There are people who are abusers and people who are being abused, and a lot of those people do both. It's one of the shows I've seen a couple of times and still want to see it more and more and more. It's really, really great. Motibi, it's interesting if Gal said he was going to do 9 albums with Treldom. I really don't see it happening, but if it happens, well, why not? Thank you, Maria's True Faith, for your donation. Thank you so much. Actually, answering your question right away, since this donation always pops up these questions, you're asking if I can do a new Satanic Warmaster interview again. Now, I actually called Lauri of Satanic Warmaster last week, and when I was driving to Battlelore / Skyforger show, and Lauri said he's thinking about it. So if he's in the mood and if the interview happens early enough on Friday at Steel Chaos where we are playing, I told him he's the only one I'm willing to interview on the very same day I'm playing a gig with my own band because, as saying, double duties are not very interesting to do. I mean, it's time consuming and all. But Laura said we could possibly do it. He didn't promise me the interview this time, but he was like, it could really be possible. So let's keep our thumbs up for a new Satanic Warmaster interview. I told him it would like it's due time for us to really do it. So let's hope we can pull it off. Her Miseria is asking if I got favorite Australian black metal bands. Well, Drowning the Light is definitely not one of that. My all-time favorite from Australia is definitely Destroyer 666. On top of that, I guess I'm kind of bound to drop the name of Abyssic Hate. Then Krvna, quite new band. Now only one album and one EP out. The EP actually arrived here. I'm going to show you. This was meant to be done in the review video, but I got this box from Australia recently because I did review the Krvna debut album um, already during the spring when I was still in Spain. Now, the band guy sent me this, and I was expecting, okay, it's going to be shirt and CD. Well, indeed, they are right there. But on the top of that, this is hilarious. Some people already know that I happen to be a platypus fan. I think they're the most gorgeous animals on earth. That's you don't really get to see it, but if I twist the camera a little bit, maybe you can see it here. Sorry, because the camera is actually putting it out. Like on there. A weird way to point it out. There you will see platypus plush, which I got from an Australian friend a few years ago when she visited me in Finland. Now, she brought it because I'm a platypus fan. So what this Kurna guy from Australia did is send me a platypus plush, what do you call, kind of a keychain. Look at this motherfucker. These are the best animals on earth. Really great ones. So not only he sends me a black metal shirt, a CD, which is there in the CD pod, but also platypus um, keychain, and also look at this platypus pin. I mean, this would totally fit with the whatever black metal and metal pins I have there for my microphone bag. So yeah, Corona is a good band from Australia. That is something which is worth mentioning when talking about Australian black metal bands. So I'm really thankful for that. And since some people do collect, for example, things related to pigs, I mean, whether it's about funny erasers or pens or I don't know, whatever you have as a like collectible stuff. I think I'm gonna be a platypus collector from now on because fuck yeah, they're just some great animals. If you don't know why they're such great animals, I could give you a small lecture about it, but I think it goes beyond the scope of this video. But fuck, they're great, great animals, and also super cute. But yeah, there are some good bands coming from Australian black metal scene. I guess Austere, which I already interviewed at Steel Fest this year. I think they are also worth mentioning. Austere has kind of a strong atmospheric black metal I really like. Then there are, of course, bands like Gospel of the Horns, Naxul, um, Bestial Warlust, those kind of bands, which are definitely worth listening to. But Destroyer 66 is absolutely the best coming from Australia all time. No, we don't need to talk about ACDC. And yes, Natred, you really need to watch Twin Peaks. Mulholland Drive is a good movie. I think it could be my favorite Lynch movie. But I'm gonna say some Lynch stuff is just too weird for me. I remember that I didn't like too much. Um, whatever this movie Highway whatever. No, my mind is doing the tricks. I'm forgetting because Lost Highway. Yeah, thank you. I don't know if anybody said it, but Lost Highway. For example, that I didn't like too much, but whatever he did for Twin Peaks, whatever he did for Mulholland Drive, good stuff. Um, haven't seen Lynch take on Dune, by the way. Cecilia Taylor is having spicy shrimp scampi for dinner. Maybe you should teleport me in, and I would, share the share your dinner. Sorry. Um, Farten, yes, it would be nice to have a new Marduk interview. I totally agree. And I actually have tried to get the vocalist of Marduk or Funeral Mist for interview, but last time it wasn't possible. So I don't know how it would be in the future, but we shall see. Benji's asking anyone dressing up for Halloween. I think we will have some kind of a Halloween party here in Finland as well later on. But I don't know how it's gonna be. Maybe it's gonna be this gorgeous mask, the ones that people already saw me starting this stream. Yeah. I know it looks silly, but then again, I'm a silly person, so there you have it. Mind you, none of this silliness, what's happening here, or whatever is happening with Marty, you don't get to see that with Nightside. So, in case you're expecting to see some kind of a Nightside goofery, because I have this other side of me being the goofy Joker dude, I'm gonna have to disappoint you. There is not gonna be goofy side of things when it comes to playing black metal. Sadistic Vitamin is asking about Winter Sun. I would be definitely interested to interview Winter Sun, Yari, if he's up for that. Even though I have never been listening to Winter Sun as such, but yeah, SK Twin Peaks, fucking great. SK, it's interesting if those more than would be up for that because they are indeed coming to my home city. So let's hope that's happening. Metaverse is having a Radekas 12. Yep, Kel. Fuck, that beer is so good. Nevermore. I don't think we do have the budget for Maryland Death Fest 2024. USA is so much more expensive to travel to versus, for example, going to Norway or Sweden. I mean, the plane tickets alone, they're maybe 3 to 4 times more than traveling to say Norway. Now, if you multiply that with say 2 or 3, depending how many people would be coming, that would be basically destroying our whole budget for the year just for one trip. So, as much as I would like to visit Maryland Death Fest, I don't really see it possible with the current budget of Rauta. So we shall see. We shall see how it goes. Yes, Cecilia Taylor. I can imagine upstate New York would be great around Halloween. I've been only to New York and Massachusetts during summertime, but I could imagine the New England area or upstate New York and all that West Coast area, sorry, East Coast area would be really great looking area during this time of the year. I hope to visit one day again because I truly enjoyed my time in Boston and New York when I was visiting them. Not to mention the other parts. I've been to USA 3 times and I fucking loved the place. Everybody was nice, and this was years before Rauta, so it would be even better nowadays. For example, I would like to visit Psycho Las Vegas festival just for the bands, but also people and get to do some shit. But I don't know. Uh, Shucked 11 is asking, do I like DSBM? Yes, I do when it's correctly done. It's been years since I listened to Silencer, so I don't have a very recent recollections about that stuff. But I mean, I do like when music gets really dark. I'm not the dark person in that sense. I have zero self-destructive things in me, I guess. But sometimes my mind wanders in really, really deep places in my head. That's probably the moment you are not very interesting to hear what I have to say, what I'm wondering. It's kind of like when I end up in the maze, when I start thinking like everything is meaningless and death is not going to be any kind of salvation. It's just going to be the end of it. Game over. Just period. Dot whatever. And then I start questioning about everything. How everybody's basically a cunt. How people are super selfish and self-centered, and we're kind of bound to do our biological needs without the really control over ourselves and blah blah blah. So whenever I venture into those corners of my head, it's not going to be very interesting. It's going to be just dark, dull, and nihilistic to the max. Um, But yeah, I do have a soft spot for DSBM bands. Be it about the peak moment shining, be it about Abyssicate, or whatever good albums came out with the DSBM territory. Yeah, but so many bands doing DSBM are just crappy one-man bedroom black metal projects, never doing interesting songs. They're just like more like kind of an introvert loners wanting to do black metal but not able to, put their ideas on the map or on the piece of paper and turn it into songs, translate their emotions, their feelings into something really dark. More or less, it's more like some kind of a pathetic attempt to do that. And that's where I also end up loathing a lot of the DSBM stuff. So the prime DSBM stuff is really, really good when it's really dark, where it's really suicidal, destructive, in a way nihilistic, not enjoying life at all kind of stuff. I really love it, but most of the time it just seems like pretentious one-man bedroom black metal projects which are not worth shit. SK is asking an interesting question: how hard is not to get wasted before an interview? It's actually pretty easy because the interviews, depending on the festival, of course, happen relatively early. For example, at Inferno Festival, the interviews happen during afternoon time, like Suder this year, or Vatine. I mean, they happen around 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock. It's not like beer clock already. I mean, even if you have a beer or two, doesn't mean you're getting wasted. But well, try to do an interview like 11 at night, or like in Marduk's case at Steel Fest a few years ago, it was like 2:30 in the night. Of course, you've been doing some beers during the day. You're not exactly the most energetic anymore at 2:30. Even if you're not like wasted, even if you're just like tired, it's gonna be feel like you're gonna look like you're gonna be wasted. So yeah, sometimes it's harder, sometimes it's not. For example, this year at Steelfest, I met Gehenna guys. I was having a really good time with them, just talking off the camera and all that stuff a lot. And we were supposed to do the interview at some point, but was this on Friday? I think. Like, there was no interviews to be done at the later on in the evening. So of course I ended up, of course, and of course, but I mean I ended up being wasted. But there were no work to be done. So then I just ended up having good time with friends and all and drinking beer. So sometimes those things happen because of that. I'm gonna tune the camera a little bit. But yeah, it would be interesting to see how these things go when you're supposed to do interview like 2:30 in the night. For example, we did the primordial interview this year at Beyond the Gates around, I don't know, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, something like that. It was very spontaneous. I've been talking to Alan of Primordial that we should do this interview at some point during the day, and he was suddenly like, "Hey, we can do it right away. Like we're having beers in this black metal pub downstairs of Helion Bar." And he was like, "Yeah, we can do it right away. Let's go out." Then the cameraman is more like, "Maybe we should be doing it like inside because we already have the table, we have the beers. It's gonna be easier to do inside rather than go outside." So we did it. So in these situations like this, it's hard to not get like too many beers because you're anyway having beers of time, and then you're like, you want to do interview now, right at the moment here? I mean, why the fuck not? So I don't really worry about having a few drinks in the go because I mean that's kind of disarm some of our limitations in a way. It makes it a little bit more relaxed. So why the fuck not? But I mean, of course, when people are expecting some kind of a pro uh, approach, setup, or whatever, and we're not gonna be that pro. I mean, this is not our day job. Well, they're gonna be disappointed, and it's fine. What else? Eternum is a good Australian band, says SK. That one I don't really remember. Yeah, this embubblement is, of course, a classic from Australia, but never got too much into those doom death bands and all that stuff. They actually played in Finland, I think, last year. Platypi, SK, platypi in plural. Platypus, platypi. Platypi. I always always get that our Australian thing going on with the stuff. Yeah, platypus plushie. I should show you the big ones. Oh, Spede 15 is here. Okay, let's just, you know, hide the dude. Oh, a troll. Yeah, I don't forget corpse molestation, but I really honestly don't even remember how they sound like. What happened to Diabolos Rising? I don't know what happened to it. I think it was always like a side project, and maybe it just got, I don't know, buried between the more important bands. Yes, indeed, David Lynch's magic can be, you know, that he's confusing. Knock'n'By is asking a very, very interesting question. Um, of all the interviews I've done so far, which ones are my favorite? This is really hard for me to answer because the thing here is, and by the way, when you're asking me question, please do tag Rauta because I might be just scrolling over your questions while I try to get all the answers done and all that stuff. I might miss your question, so please do tag me in order to get answer 100% guaranteed. But to answer your question, really, what is my favorite ones? It's hard to say for sure because certain interviews are favorite ones because of other reasons. For example, that Celtic Frost interview with Tom G. Warrior last year was definitely one of the highlights. Not only because we went quite deep in the topics in the past and all that stuff, but it was also a very, very emotional one. So, in one respect, that is one of my favorites. Then again, also the one with Warscott of Zenial and uh, Abzugai. Proscriptor was in the Zenial interview in 2019. I think that's also one of my favorites because Warscott is so verbal guy. He's a very intellectual guy, and you can pretty much figure out a lot of stuff of his, replies and all that stuff. So that's always one of my favorites. Also, I think Usurper interview, which I did around, was this also in 2019? This was before COVID, so it probably was 2019 already. That is also one of my favorites because that is such a good mood interview. I mean, it's their old school black trash death metal guys, and they're not, shy to, express their good mood, laughing and being just old school metalheads. Nothing pretentious, which sometimes is more prevalent with the stuff when it comes to black metal. Now, one that you haven't seen yet, but it's definitely one of my favorites, is also the upcoming Blood Incantation interview. It's not so much because I would be a big Blood Incantation fan. I'm really not that much of a fan. I mean, I do like their stuff, but it's not like my favorite band. But it gets highly intellectual, highly scientific, philosophical, and all that stuff. So yeah, that Blood Incantation interview is definitely one of my favorites. And I would be lying if that Inquisition one, even though I was a little bit tipsy in the interview, the one with two parts, but lasting all more than 70 minutes total, that would be my favorite also because we really were tackling about, the elephant in the room, the hard topics and all that stuff. So we really went deep with that one. But like I said, it's hard to pick just one favorite because they're different from one another. I mean, whatever happened with Domji Warrior is very different from what happened, for example, with Belzer guys or Usurper guys, or what this latest Talker one. When we want, in a way, this latest Talker one is definitely one of my favorites because we went outside the venue and we get to see those different places like sightseeing, which you already have seen. So that's like asking like who is your best friend? Do I really get to choose just one best friend at this age? So No, it's impossible for me to just pick one. That's like that's almost like asking the absolute best song in the world. That would depend on my mood. Sometimes I would say, yeah, it's Angel of Death. And some other times I would say, no, it's High Hopes by Pink Floyd. So it depends. It depends on many various factors, but I hope this vague answer is answering your question nonetheless. Yeah, and the Marduk interviews was also nice, but wouldn't be in my top three or anything like that. Leland is favorite character in Twin Peaks. No, Leland is a great character. Thank Benji. I think it's a nice mask indeed. Yep. Happy Halloween, hyvää kekriä. To you too, Eric. Kekri is indeed a kind of a Finnish way of celebrating Halloween. Similar. Thank you, SK, for another donation. You're already doing too much, but thank you so much once again. I will get to your question right now. Oh, you meant like how does werewolf that get wasted before your interview? Um, I don't know. Um, maybe it is hard for him to, you know, when he's playing a show, maybe it's different. And he is very pro when it comes to, doing show. For example, last year after Steelfest, shows were done. He was at this hotel, not with me, but I got told by a friend of mine, and he was like offering people drinks and all that stuff, and he was probably quite wasted. But until the time he's actually playing the show, I think he's able to, keep it all together. So I think he's able to manage that. But when he drinks heavily, as far as I can tell. But he does the stuff in a pro ways. Steve Floyd is saying Psycho Las Vegas is no more. God damn it. I'm sorry to hear about it. I was hoping for it to happen. Cecilia Taylor, my answer to you about favorite movie soundtrack is very simple. Conan the Barbarian. Conan the Destroyer also. It's Basil Polidoris is fucking fantastic composer, or was, now dead of course. Oh, sorry, Steve Floyd, you were talking about Milwaukee Metal Fest MDV, MDF. Okay, that would be interesting. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, coming to United States with Rauta crew is so expensive that I don't see it happening unless I get some sponsor to help out with the plane tickets and all. I, of course, hope I'm wrong here, but I don't see it likely happening. Not with the current size of Rauta being still relatively small with less than 17,000 subs. Never more rules. Thank you so much for if you're coming part of the Patreon team. I mean, like I said, every dollar counts, but we're when we're talking about hundreds of dollars or euros through the course of a year, it's not gonna make much of a difference because, like I said, at this moment we're able to maybe do 2 foreign trips per year, and that means like hundreds of dollars based on one trip alone. But we shall see. It would be, like I said, a dream come true to travel to the United States to do some Rauta stuff there as well. But it's hard. It's hard because the income is so little. Ben and G about the black braid stuff. I already did cover that stuff on my video a couple of weeks ago, so it's all covered there in my video about black braid. Silver Snake, why humans exist on this planet's purpose? Yeah, that's evolution, nature, finding its course. And the new Tudor album is definitely one of the best ones coming on this year. Have I ever been to Obscene Extreme Festival? Unfortunately, no. Would be interesting to do that. Sadistic Venom is asking, do I have any tips to raise children to like black metal? Well, no. The thing here is, kids, when we were kids, we would find our own way. If you're forcing them to like metal, they will most likely rebel against you anyway. And if you're steering them towards whatever pop music or whatever, they might end up liking black metal later on. But then again, you really can't force certain rebellion through that. For example, my kid is nowadays asking, like, Dad, why do you play this music when there's the screamy vocals and or growly vocals and all that stuff? Why don't you just listen to pop music? And she was raised more or less driving, around with me, taking to kindergarten or daycare before that or school with black metal and death metal. I would blast like Cannibal Corpse in my car, and she would be like nodding like on the background, like, "What is this?" Now that she's 9, she's more like finding pop music through her friends and all that stuff. And she's like, "Why are you listening to this kind of music?" And I'm like, "Okay, this is what I like. You don't need to like what I like. You find your own way. You carve your own path." Now, as much as I hope that she didn't like the pop music and all that stuff, I think it's a vital part of the process. For example, when I was kid, I found heavy metal quite early on. At some point, I abandoned whole metal. I went for hip hop or what kind of a dance music there was, like early teens. Now that phase didn't last for long, but that's all I'm saying. We are kind of bound to try different styles of music, and then we will find our own way to carve our own path. So whatever you're doing in the age of, say, 6 or 12 or 15, it doesn't mean like, okay, I'm locking down this particular path to particular genres of music. You are kind of bound to figure out what you like. Maybe you like dance music when you're 9. Maybe you like brutal death metal when you're 15. Maybe you're listening to blues and I don't know, bluegrass by the time you're 30. So I think a lot of people are experimenting with different kind of music, and I think it's a vital part of growing up. Much like watching different kind of movies, playing different kind of games, reading different kind of books, reading different kind of comics, magazines, whatever, hanging out with different kind of friends. You will need to have different experiences in order to figure out what is shit, what is not. If you're only sticking to one thing, then you're losing, then you're missing out. And also, I think if you're growing up with metal alone, I mean, since you're a little kid, um, what's the rebellion in that anyway? So I think you're kind of bound to, you know, learn. And thank you, Captain Sweep, so much for your donation. Also, thank you. This has been fun, wonderful stream in terms of your generosity. Thank you so much. Um, Answering questions. Yeah, well, we can meet at Steel Chaos. Like I said, I will be playing a show with Nightside on Friday as an opening act. So before that, I won't be anywhere to be seen except backstage, preparing the show mentally and also physically, setting up for the show. After I'm done with the show, it's time for me to relax, hang out with friends and beers and all that stuff. Not doing interviews, maybe with the exception of Satanic Warmaster. So on Saturday it will be easier, but of course we can after meet after show and all that stuff. So yeah, well, it's this thing like let's celebrate the first super uh, ability on the live stream, whatever. It is the Captain Sweep thing. Hey, let's give it a heart. Never been to Karjorok at Uusikaupunki, but I've been to Uusikaupunki. We actually played a couple of shows with Nightside there back in the late 90s. So yeah, I've been to Uusikaupunki and played a show there with Nightside. More questions. Mm, yeah, I think Benji, Eric Rutan was, in my opinion, the most valuable player if you get the um, eh, meaning here at Inferno. He was so fucking violent killer player, both live and sticking like headbang and play all the Cannibal Corpse songs like with fierce live. I mean, he's 53 or something, and he was basically showing all the younger guys this is how you're supposed to play metal: violent, aggressive, energetic, and fucking intense. I mean, Cannibal Corpse sounded like these guys were like 25. They were really, really playing a good show at Inferno, and I think Aaron Rutten is a very, very important addition to the whole Cannibal Corpse stuff. Be it on studio albums, be it on live. Great musician. A New Incantation didn't really give me the warm feeling. I think it was quite okay, but not really my thing. Um, Owen W is asking what what black metal album I think have the most scary atmosphere. At the moment, I'm thinking it's the latest Achilles one because it's very nightmarish. It's combining elements from dark ambient to black metal. So I really think that could be the one from black metal department. What is the most expensive record I own? Asking Ottomani. I have absolutely no idea. I would probably have to check out Discogs for that. I don't think I have very expensive recordings, but I might have something that I don't know the value of. So really can't know. Can't say about it. Sucked11 is asking about I should make a video about deathcore band controversy, Thai artist murder. I don't know. I don't think I know the story here. So give me the details and all that stuff. So yeah, I could talk about it if I know more. I've been asked what I think about alternative rock period of Paradise Lost or Catatonia. I kind of lost my interest in Catatonia after Brave Murder Day, which I think is a fantastic album. But I do love the Paradise Lost era when they went full Depeche Mode. And now I didn't like it when I was in my early 20s when Host album came out. But later on, I started to appreciate. Maybe it came hand in hand when I started, enjoying Depeche Mode kind of stuff, the darker end of Brit pop more. So I like it. I actually like it. There's no secret, no denying it. Part of me liking Paradise Lost, and in the easier ways or more less metallic era of that, is because of their lyrics. They are kind of they're very British, but also there's something that kind of speak to the Finnish in me. I'm saying it's a very, very dark place in a way. Um, and that's why I like it. And when someone was mentioning depression earlier in the conversation, no, I never experienced that. Never had depression. So when I go to dark place, it's almost always very controlled. It's more on the philosophical ways of thinking. It might seem or sound like depression to some, but no, I never feel that. But I do love reading really, really dark lyrics. And sometimes it's not the most extreme kind of music, not the darkest kind of music, which I find the darkest, in fact. Like, I could read some Pink Floyd, I could read some Paradise Lost lyrics, for example, and find them a lot darker than some edgelord stuff, what some black metal bands are doing. So, unlike some people seem to think, I don't find black metal the darkest music out there. Sometimes I think this was said by not the first of Carpathian First, but real life tragic events, real life tragedies, or the dire essence of real life can be so much darker than any kind of, I don't know, darker fantasy stuff or supernatural or the occult or whatever you think it's out there. Sometimes the life itself can be really, really grim. Now, if you ever had people in your life, friends, family, whatever, having, I don't know, committing suicide, suffering some horrible sickness like cancer or whatever, I think you will know that what I'm talking about here. So sometimes instead of going to those fictive places of darkness, sometimes your reality is just so fucking dark. So that's why I can really, really like music that seem light, easygoing, and all that stuff. And then again, it's really, really dark in so many ways. Never more rules. Thank you for your comment about Archco interview. Yeah, I think that's also something that I really really liked. I mean, we had the beer tasting and we went to very Finnish mindset of things. That could be among my favorite ones as well. Also because it's actually the surroundings, Turku Castle. It's a beautiful place, and it kind of reeks of history and all that stuff. What is my favorite Absu album? That is easy to answer. It's Tara. Tara. It's fucking great. Paradrum Vitrara is actually my least favorite Absu albums, by the way. Yeah, SK, you're right about gospel music being played. Farten, I totally understand your point about being scared to listen to King Diamond and figuring out Entombed instead. I mean, King Diamond sounds more like serious in a way. I never got to like the vocals though. Um, Cuervo, moi vaan. Terve, terve. Hello. I don't know if there are some Finnish Venom Motorhead influenced bands in the 80s. None of those come to my mind. At least not so that I could like literally say like, hey, these are the bands. I mean, of course, we had early heavy metal bands and hard rock bands, but I don't know if they were so much influenced by those because I think they were like lighter in a way. So I don't know if they were influenced so much by Venom and stuff, or Motorhead for that matter. Oh yeah, prescription auditioning for Slayer. That was fantastic. Cicely Taylor is listening to some crazy dubstep epic metalcore from Japan. That sounds like music to do drugs with. On ONW Atlas, what is this related to? I probably too much delayed with my back scroll, so I don't find the connection here. Um, Benji's asking what are my favorite metal compilations. I never was too much into metal compilations. I mean, since the early years when everything was new and all that stuff, of course, that was the kind of a stuff to do. Um, but since I started, basically doing tape trading for a bit, it was kind of like MP3 trading already in the late 90s. I think those compilations kind of lost their meaning very, very quickly. I mean, apart from those cover albums like Slayer and Explorer, black metal, death metal bands doing Slayer covers, or black metal bands doing Dog Throne covers, whatever, or tribute to Euronymous and all that stuff. Black and compilations one and two, they were fundamental for me finding black metal bands around say 1996 or so. I mean, they featured a lot of Norwegian and Swedish black metal, but also bands like Havohei and some, I think, British black metal. I think some bands like Hecate Enthroned, something like that might have been on those compilations. So black and compilations one and two were very important me during those times because I didn't really have black metal friends. I didn't have friends like, hey, you should be checking out this one or that one. I had maybe one friend listening to black metal, so it wasn't that much. So finding those compilations were essential in a way. But even more important, I guess, well, this is because it was earlier, maybe around 1984, was ERA compilation. It cost like I think it was a mid price thing. I think calling like 50 marks, which is something like maybe 10 euros nowadays. This ERA compilation, This was 1993, 1994, probably 1994. And it had bands like Carcass, Entombed, I think Bolt Thrower most likely, Morbid Angel. So you can imagine the feeling of getting these earache compilation. Godflesh also, but I didn't like it. So you can imagine the feeling of suddenly finding a lot of those cool bands. I think Napalm Death might be on those compilation as well. So suddenly you have like two songs each band: Morbid Angel, Bolt Thrower, Napalm Death, or whatever, Entombed, stuff like that on this earache compilation, and you're like mind fucking blown because the music was there, right? So great and all. So yeah, I guess I would have to drop those names. And the tribute to Euronymous and tribute to Dark Throne back in the late 90s, they were pretty cool. But already, like, for example, when the Dark Throne tribute came out, you already figured out Dark Throne does these songs better than any of these bands covering them. Same goes with the Slayer tribute compilations. Kind of a, showcasing cool bands that were like kind of early on still, but showing off their black metal or death metal and paying tribute to Slayer, which was already one of my favorite bands back in the days. So they were important compilations and tribute albums. But after the, say, late 90s, compilation albums pretty much lost their meaning to me. So I never got back to them so much. I think they were kind of a product of their time, zeitgeist in a way. But yeah, lots of compilations probably I have just missed because I never had too much interest in them after that. Yeah, I think Grind is very much true here, saying Catatonia continues with the goal of being the most boring band in the Scandinavian metalverse. Catatonia definitely has the reputation of being very boring live band. I've seen them once upon a time in early 2000s. This must have been something like 2002, 2004, around those days. And I have only very good recollection of that. Like, I was more interested to witness this guy, Black Haim, from Diabolical Masquerade being part of Catatonia rather than being interested in so much Catatonia. But that's because I never got into the band beyond Sounds of Decay and Brave Murder Day, which are, in my opinion, great releases by Catatonia. Mm, Sadistic Venom is asking, do I like old school 1980s hair metal like early Wasp? I fucking love Wasp. Wasp is the best heavy metal band ever, period. No contest. I fucking love Wasp. I think it's a fucking great band. It was one of those bands that started me to like metal when I was a kid. I don't know the exact age, but must have been something like 9 or 10 or so. So we are living in the early 90s, 80s, mid 80s. So Wasp is definitely one of my favorite band of all times. I really, really love it. Almost all the albums. And of course, other hair metal bands like Mötley Crüe, very important for me still as a kid. And I actually did Mötley Crüe Worst to Best a couple of years ago for Rauta because the early albums are so good. I mean, whether you're talking about Shout at the Devil or Dr. Feelgood, uh, Theatre of Pain. I mean, they're fucking great albums. It's Theatre of Pain. Fuck. Sometimes I really mess up some names in my head. Anyway, Mötley Crüe is great. And of course, later on, bands like Skid Row. I don't know if you really count them as a hair metal band, but yeah, great stuff. Early albums. I mean, I fucking love how Sebastian Bach is a fucking great vocalist with a great voice, and I mean the songs he did, though they did, they're great. But yeah, some hard rock really, really nails it for me. Kram or Mark. Unfortunately, Alcest or their label never got back to me about the interview possibility to do Alcest at the Beyond the Gates festival. So I asked for a couple of times, never got a reply, so it didn't happen. Knohenbach, I think my favorite Satanic Warmaster album is the debut, although I remember liking Opferblut a lot as well. Basically, early Satanic Warmaster is the stuff that I prefer in the Satanic Warmaster discography. But I haven't been really listening to the latest Satanic Warmaster albums equally, so no. Balin Muska, I recently went through the whole Oliver discography in my true Norwegian black metal crash course videos, and I pretty much went through all the Oliver albums. So I'm not gonna talk in detail so much, but I can say most Oliver stuff isn't my cup of tea. There are, however, some cool ones along the lines. There was this, I think it's called Riverhead. Uh, Soundtrack by Oliver, which is, in my opinion, one of the best ones. Hello, Edge Circle Production. Hello, Stian. Nice to have you here. This single malt whiskey is for you. No, this is actually not single malt. This is blended whiskey, but nonetheless, Scotch whiskey. It was nice to meet you at Beyond the Gates Festival. I hope to meet you soon again, and looking forward to that Asagraum album. That is, by the way, people, something you need to be checking out. Asagraum album will be out very, very soon, and all those two albums that came out earlier, they're fucking fantastic. So, one of the best black metal albums of current stuff. So, check out it. Kirkkovala is asking me my favorite Unhola release. I don't have a favorite Unhola releases, but that's partially because I haven't been listening to Unhola for a lot of years. Been too many years since I've been listening to Unhola, so can't really comment on that more than now. I should get back to that, but then again, world is full of interesting bands to listen to. O and W was asking what my favorite, the scariest black metal album. I would say it's the Atlas album, the latest one. So that would be the, the most scary black metal album. Dance of December Souls, I recall vaguely it being quite decent of a Catatonia album, but not as good as Pray Murder Day. And the first Mötley Crüe album, the one Too Fast for Love, no, I don't think Vince Neil had the voice just yet, and the songs are kind of a demo-ish compared to whatever happened with the Shout at the Devil. Sarcophagus is an interesting band in terms of first Finnish heavy metal band. I think the music is decent. I haven't really been delving through the whole discography, however, but the ones I have, I remember they were quite okay. Very potential band, but not being there yet. But I think it was quite decent, especially given the era of the time when it came out. Oh yeah, Benji. Yeah, those early mid-price compilation albums, they were really something that you could spend your money wisely in order to find new bands that you should be listening to, share with your friends and all that stuff. So they were like good, like showcasing new bands. But of course, those years are long gone and all that stuff. Stevens, I actually reviewed the new Shining album quite some time ago. The review actually came out already this Monday. I had to check it out because I wasn't sure anymore which day was it. So Monday, the Shining review already came out. It's a good one. Not all people consider it the black metal album, but that's another discussion. Knohamba is asking if I like the German black metal scene. Now, I really don't know German black metal scene. I know plenty of German black metal bands, but asking me to know how the scene is in terms of people, the venues, promoters, fans, I don't really know German black metal scene as such. But there are good bands in Germany. Big country, a lot of fans. So, yeah. Kirkkopalovaroitus, no problem. And Stevens, nice to know that you like Premier today as well. I remember Benji reading about that comment that Proscriptor was too weird for Slayer. I kind of understand it. Proscriptor is just something else. Okay, Segment 11 is mentioning this artist murder case, asking about young kid asking boy or girl, and what the hell, both. So basically, if I understood correctly, the vocalist was kicked out of the band because he asked about, about non-binary gender thing. That sounds fucking ridiculous to me. A deleted voice from the new album replaced by another guy. I mean, that sounds like some goofy American shit. Yeah, Stevens. No, yeah. Go ahead and check out the Shining thing. It's features, I think, okay unboxing. So yeah. Balin about stoner metal. I only like stoner metal when I'm getting stoned. As a sober person, when I'm sober, most of the time that is. No, I don't like stoner. I find it very, very dull. Nevermorals, yeah, German black metal scene has some cool bands like, well, yeah, Moonblood, Disaster, bands like Catharsis, which might be my all-time favorite black metal band from Germany. I also like Falkenbach quite a bit. I think their folky black metal epic thing is very interesting. Nagelfar was pretty interesting also back in the days. And of course, nowadays there are plenty of German bands like Sarkrista, which is very Finnish sounding black metal, but it's actually quite many newer German black metal bands are actually sounding quite Finnish, to be honest. It's almost like instead of being inspired by 1990s Norwegian or Swedish bands, a lot of German bands seem to be more inspired by like Finnish black metal scene, like Satanic Warmaster and the like. Yeah, it would have been interesting to see how Proscriptor went on with Slayer, but I don't know. Maybe that kind of a hard touring life wouldn't have suited him. But yeah, German scene is so big, of course, in terms of bands, that there are a lot of bands happening. From the newer bands, I think Mavorim is worth mentioning, as well as that Sarkrista. And while their stuff is not original by no means, at least some of the bands, some of the melodic style what they're doing is pretty interesting. Now that being said, melodics and all that stuff, I must say that most absurd stuff, for example, doesn't really do the thing for me. I mean, I kind of get it why people like it, but nah, never been my thing so much. Well, sadistic. I don't mind if Groza is, you know, you know, imitating Mqua because Mqua is so fucking great. It's it's much like when people are like asking, "Hey, are you bothered that these bands copy Burzum or these bands go copy Dark Throne?" Fuck. If you ask me, go and copy all the good bands as much as you can. I mean, if you're able to work on an album and a copy of a style which is great to begin with, fucking do it. The downside of things is most of these copycats are unable to do it. But I mean, if a band could really copy the quality of the Mysteries to Satanas, or could copy the quality of In the Nightside Eclipse, could copy the quality of Under a Funeral Moon, I would say fucking do it. So if a band is trying to copy and able to copy whatever MQuai is doing, fucking do it. Unfortunately, Groza is not that good though. But I mean, I don't mind they're trying to do the same style because in the end, music is one thing. Then you have also lyrics, live performance, whole albums, and all that stuff. So copying one thing doesn't mean they are gonna be the same kind of thing all in all. Uada is a good example. They kind of have the MQuA feeling, yet at the same time they're like nowhere near. It's not even the same ballpark, but there are similarities. Do I mind? No. But do I like them? I only wish I could, but I don't. I mean, they were kind of lame at Inferno, and some of the comments were they're making even more lamer. But as far as it comes to creating music which has similarities, like bring it on. Try to do it the same way. I wouldn't mind if there was more bands being able to do the same thing, for example, what Marduk is doing, for instance. Or if I would find a band that was able to do, say, pure Holocaust era kind of immortal stuff. Yeah, fucking bring it on. Cuervo, I gotta say, I don't know details of the relationship with the boss and Corton and Oz. I know that there was something going on, but there were. I was too young when it was happening, and later on, that wasn't discussed too much. So I probably know not more than you, probably even less. Yeah, Cecilia, why do you hate Stradivarius so much? Just go play Black Diamond. Suomi, Finland, perkele. Yeah, it's mentioned here. I gotta say, Benji, I really like when artists really have the personalities. So yeah. But yeah, SK, it might be possible to do classic reviews. I've been very busy with my Norwegian black metal stuff, so I haven't really been doing individual classic reviews so much because I've been focusing on, doing these discography runs. So that's why those individual classic reviews haven't been so much on air lately, but they will be eventually here on the channel as well. Meta voice, I totally agree with your point. Exactly. Being inspired by something and then eventually you will add your own blood to the whole cooking process. Yeah, Meta voice boss was Quarton father. That is actually at least the generic thing to say. Do I like Harakiri for the Sky? Yes, I do. I interviewed the band in 2019 when they were playing in Scotland. And one of the reasons why I wanted to interview them was because I was already liking their music. They actually played a show in my home city, maybe 2017, something like that. And yeah, I like the band. I like them live. I like them on album even more. I'm not saying I like full discography to the max, but I mean, I think they're a good band. So yeah. Okay, I've been caught up with the backlog and all. I've been answering most of your questions, if not everything. So we've been doing this for 90 minutes and beyond. Should you have your final comments and questions before I go? Please do it right now. And of course, you will have some questions stored for the next stream, which I can already pretty much give you a date. Since now it's the the October stream happening. The next stream should be, unless something comes up and changes the date, that should be around November 4th, assuming assuming that is nothing is going to interfere with the plan. But now it looks like that November 4th will be the stream, and probably the next one after that will be early December. We shall see how it goes. So, final questions. I'll get to answer. Benji, Dismember, fucking great. Would be nice to see that live again. It's been too many years since that. Cuervo, my pleasure. And thank you so much, SK. I will be enjoying my weekend. I am still on the verge of should I go for Cyberpunk 2077 and play it a bit, or should I, finish the Continental series? I don't know if many people you there know, but I also have the secondary channel Rauta Beyond, where I will be talking about movies and TV series and games, stuff that is not so relevant to Rauta. In case you want to hear more of my rambling outside metal, I would say subscribe to the channel and maybe even pop up to random streams I do on Twitch and Rauta Beyond when I'm playing the games. Like for example, I will be streaming some of the stuff on my PlayStation 5 on Rauta Beyond when I have a next PlayStation 5 game coming up. But yeah, check out the channel content on Rauta Beyond as well if you are interested in my thoughts beyond metal music. Thank you, Nevermore Rules. Thank you so much for your comment. Good to hear that you had a good time. Thank you, Kirkkopalovaroitus, and all that stuff. Sect 11, I do like some post black metal, but most of the stuff, not too much my thing. Farten, thank you. Have a good weekend as well. Krogenbach, what is my favorite season in what? Please do elaborate. Cuervo, ole hyvä. Thank you. And Stevens, thank you. I hope that the content will be worth your liking. Of course, my secondary channel, Rauta Beyond, is not nearly as active as Rauta. It's more like once, maybe twice a week, some content, and the videos are quite short. But yeah. Sicilian vampire movies. Okay, enjoy. Nevermore Rules, no, but I have Assassin's Creed Mirage coming in my way, and if I'm getting it on PlayStation 5, I will stream it on Rauta Beyond channel. If not, then I will be streaming it on Twitch. So yeah, Assassin's Creed Mirage is coming this way. Thank you, Benji. Nice that you are enjoying your stay with the stream. And Sadistic, yeah, we shall see if the Moonlight Sorcery review copy is coming this way. Then I will review it. If not, not going to review. And Solid Snake, my top 5 favorite bands: Slayer, Death, Wasp, Suicidal Tendencies, and then it's gonna be harder. I'm gonna think about my favorite number 5. Near Dark. Okay, enjoy that, Cecilia. Thank you, Tia. I hope we shall meet one another at Steel Chaos. So don't worry about being tired to really have opinions. It was nice to have you on the stream as well. So we'll be meeting at Steel Chaos and have drinks and talks, I hope. Oh, you mean what was my favorite season, like, during a year? Well, I'm a summer person because summer is great for checking out beautiful girls, drinking good beer, and I don't like wearing too much clothes. When I can be on my shorts and a t-shirt, yeah, summertime, baby. I mean, winter is more inspiring for writing black metal songs, writing black metal lyrics, and all that stuff. Don't get me wrong. Fall is really great for that too. But I mean, we have all the different seasons in Finland. When it's summer, it's nice and warm. When it's winter, it's cold and annoying and dark. When it's fall, it's moist and dark. When it's spring, it's moist and bright. So we do have all the seasons, but in the end, if I get to choose, especially if it's about going out, yeah, summer is the time for barbecue and friends and beers and shit. And of course, festivals. You don't get to see open air festivals during winter time. So of course, I'm kind of a biased like that, being a festival goer. That summer is the shit. Yeah, Solid Snake, Bolt Thrower could be actually in top five, really. Thank you, SGHT. God damn, that's hard to say. Yes, never will definitely visit Finland and see, witness all the four seasons, and you know what I'm talking about. Ah, Kirkko Polovaroitus. Ah, yeah, I think I remember then meeting you. I just can't pinpoint you as like a person, but I remember meeting those Unhola guys on the Currys late mid 90s, maybe mid 90s. Yeah, I remember the guys. At least one of the guys had immortal shirt. Yeah, I remember that one. Anyway, thank you all for your time. And oh yes, Kirko Palovarotus, I remember that. Very, very cool. I didn't know that we met already almost 30 years ago. That was around 1995 or so. Very cool. But nice reminding me. I remember that. Yeah, yeah. That pure Holocaust sure totally nailed it. Anyway, thank you so much for your time with the stream. I hope you were entertained. I'm putting my whiskey bottle right here. And I think I'm gonna head for some cyberpunk. I hope you like this new lighting conditions here with the stream and this new mic boom and all that stuff. So, Cecilia Taylor, bye bye. Have nice having you here. And people, stay tuned for Steel Chaos material. I will be doing some shorts videos of that place in 2 weeks. Next week, I will be playing in Estonia with Nightside, and a week after that, I will be at Steel Chaos playing some Nightside live there as well. So maybe you will get to see some YouTube content if someone uploads the live shit from there. But anyway, we shall see how it goes. Take care and good night. Stay metal, stay brutal.